I'm sweating, I'm so hot. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. Today's book is an audiobook. We are continuing with the CJ Box series, which is the Cassie Sewell Investigates, and this one is Badlands. So that is the front cover for the audiobook. This covers basically season 2 of Big Sky, and I love the book so much. I mean, I do love the series. That was such a good show. Reading it and hearing how scaled back it is and what the television series did to kind of elongate the story. The duration of this is 8 hours and 56 minutes. I think I read it on about 1.5 speed. This book was read by January Lavoie. I'll talk to you about her narration after I have read the blurb to you. 30 degrees below zero, but Grimstad, like hell, hasn't frozen over. The middle of nowhere town has struck oil. As oil flows out, men and money flow in, and then, with them, comes organised crime. Cassie Sewell, Grimstad's newly appointed deputy sheriff, has been thrust into the middle of a brutal gang war that's leaving bodies scattered across town. She knows she's in over her head, but one witness keeps turning up at Cassie's crime scenes. A 12-year-old boy with a knack for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And he might just be the key to her survival. So this is in crime and thriller. So with this one you're seeing the point of view of Cassie, and you're also seeing the point of view of Kyle, who is the young lad who witnesses something at the very, very beginning of the book. So yeah, Kyle is a 12-year-old and he is a paperboy, and so he rides on his bike and he goes around delivering people's mail, newspapers to be precise. And yeah, at the beginning of the book he is near the highway and he witnesses a crash. He sees what looks like 2 cars chasing each other. One of the cars carries on going, the other crashes off the road, and that starts off a spiral of events that affects him, affects his mother, affects his mother's boyfriend, and just affects the whole town in general as more and more stuff comes out. This book also looks at continuing the story of the previous book, which was The Highway, and so you are getting a continuation of the investigation into the Lizard King, and basically trying to catch him out, basically, because at this point Cassie knows who he is. They know what he looks like, though in this book he has changed his appearance. He has gone off and bought a brand new lorry so that he can continue his job and continue what he's been doing, but while using a different name and creating a whole new identity for himself. So in this book you are still looking at them trying to find Ronald after the events of the past book, and yeah, this was so much fun to listen to actually, because I don't listen to audiobooks very often. Generally I do prefer to just like read it and be able to like see the words, and nothing can beat an actual physical book, though I do read a lot of ebooks now as well. The reading of it by January Lavoie, chef's kiss to her narration of this book, because I did not feel like I was just listening to one person. Her characterisation of the different characters was just perfect, and she's got such just a wonderful voice. The way that it did feel like she was completely embodying the different characters throughout the book. I mean, I think it's a true testament to people who do audiobooks, because the truth is you have to be an actor. You have to do something in regards to acting, in regards to being able to bring these stories to life like that. So I think anybody who does audiobooks is absolutely incredible. It's just like, how do I get into that job? How do I get into that job? It sounds like it would be fun. But yeah, so you got the continuation of the Lizard King Ronald storyline, while also looking at the storyline that's brought about by 12-year-old Kyle witnessing this car going off the road, and how that leads into a local drugs heist type thing going on. Yeah, it is very close to how it was adapted to the television series, except for the fact that in the TV series they actually turned it into a group of kids, and they turned the main character Kyle into a girl while still having the kind of character of Kyle in there. So it's like they turned Kyle into 2 different people, because in the TV series it's the group of kids that see all this happen, but the character of Kyle's mother in the TV series, it's the daughter's mother. It's interesting how they've split that character up into 2 different teenagers and how they were able to just expand on that storyline. I'll admit the second season was absolutely brilliant. Janina Gavankar? I'm not completely sure how to pronounce her surname. Apologies, I don't think I've ever actually heard her name out loud before. I've seen her in other shows before, and just her as the baddie in the television series, it was just pure perfection. She's an absolutely brilliant actress, and I think the first time I actually saw her at anything was a Deborah Messing, the one who played Grace on Will and Grace. She had a TV series where she played a police officer. Oh, what was it called? Mysteries of Laura. It only had a couple of seasons, but I actually really enjoyed that show. So if anybody out there who likes a good cop detective type show, The Mysteries of Laura starring Deborah Messing was actually really good, and actually had Gina Gavankar in it. But yeah, so she plays one of the baddies in relation to the family at the heart of the season 2. Yeah, but I greatly enjoyed listening to this book. I mainly listened to it on my lunch breaks at work, getting my dose of fresh air during the day after working in the basement. It's so good. I can understand why CJ Box has just kind of become like this bestseller in regards to the stories that he tells. I'm very much looking forward to the next one because it's still continuing with, I can't speak, because the next book looks like it'll still be continuing the search for, I've already said his name, Ronald. It's continuing the search for Ronald based on what happens in this book. So I was getting to the point when it was like 10 minutes away from the end, and just like, he hasn't been wrapped up. He was wrapped up by season 3 of the TV series, but he's definitely not wrapped up in this book. I'm just very much looking forward to seeing how other elements of the stories running through the books, how that was sorted for the television series. But yeah, it's just so good, such great characters. The fact that you're seeing it, a lot of it through the point of a young teenager who has special needs. I think they say it was fetal alcohol syndrome, and so a lot of people don't understand what he's saying, and he gets very frustrated by that. And I felt really frustrated for Kyle as well, as he's talking, and people are just going, what are you doing? And there's even grown adults in the story that make fun of the way he talks, and it was just like, oh, my order. So yeah, seeing it through Kyle's point of view in the book, and just the positions he's put in as a 12-year-old, as a young boy, who also has those special needs and just is not very good at talking to people. There are some other characters in the book that do understand him, but it's a lot of the adults just don't seem to have the patience to actually listen to him, and that's where the frustration lies for both Kyle and the reader, or listener in this case, especially because in the blurb it says he hasn't actually been in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's more like he's in the right place at the wrong time, because he witnesses so much and he's put in such a ridiculous position in regards to what he has witnessed and what he knows, to the point where he is manipulated by his mother, even though he still loves her, and her boyfriend, and the other people involved in this whole drugs thing. The way he is manipulated is horrible, and so the end of the book, even though it's not all completely wrapped up, all the different storylines, seeing where Kyle ends up at the end of the book, it was very satisfying and almost like a happy ending for him, despite the horrors that he witnesses throughout the book. Oh, yeah, I feel like I haven't said that much about the story, but I think this is one where it is so different from the other ones, especially in regards to the Lizard King storyline of the last book. Even though you do have that continuing storyline, you've also got this fresh story in regards to what Kyle has witnessed and what he's going through. And also because, obviously, in the TV series they turned it into a group of kids that saw it, and so they had each other. In this book, Kyle has nobody, which makes it that much more heartbreaking. It's like, who does he trust? Who does he love? And who is going to find out his story? And even when Cassie becomes aware that he is popping up a lot. But yeah, it's just getting that point of view of Kyle and feeling like you're with him, even though he is so alone, and you're just there thinking for him and fighting for him and hoping that he gets this courage to stand up to people and go, no, stop it, what are you doing? And allowing people to actually hear his voice, because throughout the book he doesn't have a voice. And so yeah, I feel like it goes so much deeper than that. Yeah, it's great. If you like your crime and thrillers, go for it. It's got that murder mystery in it. It's also got, along with that drug storyline, you've got the carrying over from the past books, so I definitely think this is one that you do need to read the previous books to completely understand, even though there is a point when it kind of gives like a little bit of a brush up on like what's happened. Actually knowing what happened in the last book is incredibly helpful, and yeah, so if you do want to get into these books, obviously you don't have to go back as far as I did in regards to getting the Cody Hoyt storyline back with 3 Weeks to Say Goodbye, but you can at least start at the Highway, which is the first official Cassie Sewell story. Badlands, CJ Box, Can One Woman Take Them? Just such a great story. I'm so looking forward to continuing to read these and listen to them, because I've just downloaded another audiobook. Yeah, it's just great. I'm completely obsessed. I haven't actually seen January LaVoy in anything. It does say that she was in One Life to Live, American soap opera. We don't really get American soap operas in the UK, which is why I haven't seen it, but it said she's been on Broadway and off Broadway, and she's been in other like network series and stuff, so you never know. I might have seen her in something at some point, but she's got a lot of audiobooks on here. She's narrated quite a lot, and I can understand why, because her voice throughout the narration and through the different characters was just, it was awesome. And the fact that she was able to completely embody each character and make you feel like you're not just listening to one person, I just think that's a true testament to how brilliant of an actress she actually is. So hopefully I will get to see her in other stuff, and yeah, figure out if I have seen her in anything before and maybe seek out some of her work, because yeah, I just thought she was just a great voice for narrating this story. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on Wednesday with a regular old non-sequel story. Stay safe everybody, love you all, bye!